I just watched Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin get blown off the field in the fourth quarter at home in a playoff game 23-0 and lose this game 30-6 to the Houston Texans, who are clearly way, way, way better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So here's what should happen right here, right now. Aaron Rodgers should just call it a day. Hang him up, man, as he should have before this season. He was washed before this season. I said so. And he played washed all season, in which he finished 23rd out of 28 qualified quarterbacks in QBR. And he looked every bit of 42 tonight, especially as the game wore on and he wore out. Finally lost a fumble. They got scooped and scored. And last pass turned into a pick six. Aaron bleeping Rodgers. But that's not what's going to happen. I'll get to that in a moment. Mike Tomlin should call it a day in Pittsburgh, a mutual decision with the Steelers, just to move on and start over, start fresh. They need a fresh start. He needs a fresh start. Change of scenery. I don't know, maybe the Steelers want to give John Harbaugh 2 shots a year back at the Baltimore Ravens, but I doubt that. Because I don't think that's going to happen in either case. I believe that the Steelers, who never fire head coaches, never move on from head coaches, I believe they'll run it back with Mike Tomlin yet again for year number 20. That's just who they are and what they do. And I believe that Mike Tomlin will convince Aaron Rodgers to run it back for one more year, because those two had so much fun together. I can't get out of my head what I heard my old friend Ryan Clark say on ESPN in the pregame show, that last night in Pittsburgh, he obviously played for the Steelers, he ran into Omar Khan, the Steelers general manager, who said something to Ryan about, hey, I got somebody on this team this year you would have loved playing with. And I'm paraphrasing Ryan, but he said, like, the last player on his mind at that point would be Aaron Rodgers, and that's who Omar Khan said. Because Omar Khan, according to Ryan, said he's been nothing like you heard that he was. I don't know about that. Even though I heard about all these weeknight film sessions at his house or wherever he's living in Pittsburgh, heard about how he did win over that locker room and was the opposite of the finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva that I always said he was. Man, during the game, even tonight, it's this, like, what are you doing? Incomplete. Oh, my God, what are you going over on the bench? What are you doing? It's never, ever his fault. Finger-pointing, blame-deflecting diva, who now, since that long ago, far away Super Bowl in which he beat Mike Tomlin and the Steelers and Ryan Clark, Aaron Rodgers is now 7-10 in the postseason because Green Bay decided he was washed after he lost effectively his last 3 home playoff games. I'm including the last year because on the final Sunday night, he got to play Detroit before it was actually Detroit in what was a playoff for the playoff game, and he was abysmal in that game. He lost as the 1 seed 2 straight home games to Tom Brady and then to Jimmy G, really? Brady, obviously, in the NFC Championship game. But, man, 7-10 since the Super Bowl in the postseason. In the 7, they all had luck factors to them, right place, right time factors. Even against my Dallas Cowboys 2016 when we were the 1 seed. Remember Mason Crossbar made 2 intergalactic field goals from 56 and 51 yards to steal that one at Jerry World? I don't know. Just one thing after another went right. He was done before the year. He was stealing money from the Steelers, but they loved him. And I think Mike Tomlin, he was almost joined at the hip with Aaron because the last Super Bowl that Mike coached in was the one he lost 15 years ago to Aaron Rodgers. 15 years ago. So, Mike Tomlin, I've said 1,000 times on television, Arena Gridiron, 1,000 times how much, if I could play in the NFL, I'd want to play for Mike Tomlin. I love his press conferences, his media interviews. They're sensational. But I have friends who are Steelers fans, and they keep telling me, they keep challenging me to look hard at, come on now, like, come on, man. So Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game now in 10 years. Whew. That's no good. Now, he's never had a losing season. I give you that one. But in now 15 of his 19 years as Steelers head coach, they've either missed the playoffs or lost their first playoff game. And I can't defend that. But I just know what's going to happen. The Rooney family, they don't want to shake this up. They don't want to do what's right. I mean, it was just a few weeks back, Steelers fans at that stadium that they were in tonight were chanting, "Fire Tomlin, fire Tomlin, fire Tomlin." And I can't blame them for that. And I frankly did blame Mike because as they caught a little bit of fire, I mean, it was just a couple of weeks back that they lost to Shedeur, the rookie quarterback, obviously, for the Cleveland Browns. They lost at Cleveland. And Aaron sucked in that game and got outplayed by Shedeur Sanders and QBR in every way, shape, and form you can get outplayed. He's washed. He doesn't want to stand in and take the hits. He had a couple sacks tonight in which pass rushers just blew on him. Down he goes. He just doesn't have the stomach for taking the punishment anymore. He led the league in one category, getting rid of the football. 2.6 during the regular season, 2.6 seconds per throw is all he held on to the football. How long will that work? You've become, Aaron, the ultimate dink and dunk artist. In the first play of the night tonight, he flipped it out and hit a quick big gain because that's all he has. The Texans just locked down on that, on Arena Gridiron. I just kept saying the Texans defense is just way too good for Aaron Rodgers. Aqib Talib and Gerald McCoy, they root for Aaron. I don't blame them. Man, I've dealt with so many people on air, so many ex-players, so many debate partners who just loved Aaron Rodgers. Man, he's a bad man. My old friend kept saying that to me, my greatest debate partner. He's a bad man. And I'd say, yeah. And today he was just bad because he was bad in those 10 losses. Man, he had some abysmal games. Overhyped, overrated, washed, to use LeBron's favorite word. And yet Tomlin loves him, and it sounds like the locker room loves him. So as he approaches 43 next December, I just think he's going to be a Steeler. I think he finally found Valhalla. He found home in Pittsburgh. I think they'll run it back because I don't think they have another alternative at quarterback. What are they going to do? Go back to Mason Rudolph? It's not like they're grooming a young stud to take his place as he was being groomed to take Brett's place, or Jordan Love was being groomed to take his place. They don't have that. There's nobody being groomed unless I'm missing somebody on the practice squad. I don't think so. This was a joke of a game that broke loose in the fourth quarter, and it should have been way, way worse than 30-6 because CJ Stroud, CJ, for me, I like CJ Stroud a lot. And for the longest, CJ was standing for crazy jitters. Like crazy jitter. What are you doing, man? Butterfingers. Couldn't catch a snap, dropped a snap, lost a ball, and lost another football. And then threw the damnedest interception down in the red zone. What are you doing? And despite all that, it wound up 30-6 because the fourth quarter was 23-0. Mike Tomlin's coming back. Just watch. Aaron Rodgers will come back. They'll run it back, even though the only reason they played this home game tonight is that they stole a bad division. And they did so because Lamar was clashing internally with Monken, number one, but especially with John Harbaugh. They just weren't going to work, and they were coming apart at the seams when they played that night, that fateful final regular season game night in Pittsburgh. And obviously Luke did miss a field goal that could have changed the outcome. But it just felt wrong all season long. The Ravens went 3-6 at home, and then early in the second half, they lost Kyle Hamilton, who's their heart and soul of their defense. And then Aaron started heating up. When he smells blood, he can pounce. And that's the reason they played tonight. And now Mike Tomlin has lost another playoff game, coming off a pretty rocky year in which, when good teams went to Pittsburgh, when Seattle went to Pittsburgh, when Buffalo went to Pittsburgh, the Steelers just got blown off the map, as did they tonight. Ultimately, it was only 10-6 going to the fourth quarter, and then the dam broke. They just couldn't move the football because Aaron Rodgers' offense, it was actually 2 of 13, then they missed one at the end, 2 of 14 for the night. That's the story of the game, and 0-2 in the red zone. The defense just got worn down and worn out, and